A very good evening. My name is Dr. Zeeshan, and today we're going to talk about creating user profiles on Google Scholar. Now, Google Scholar is a platform that has been used by millions of researchers around the world to search for articles. At the same time, it also facilitates the professionals by creating their academic research profile. Within that research profile, users are able to add articles that they have published, and they can see a consolidated list along with the citations as per Google that each article has received. And based on that citation, then Google counts your H index as well. Okay, so it's a very good platform, and it's a very important platform that is essential for everybody, that every researcher must have their Google Scholar profile. It's a standard norm nowadays in the research community that you should have your Google Scholar profile. It might not have a huge weightage as compared to other platforms as other scholars like Web of Science, but still it has a good reputation. It is still considered by millions of people, and they still use Google Scholar primarily to search articles. So if you have a Google profile, that means there are more chances that your articles are likely to be cited, likely to be searched, and it will give you more impact. Secondly, the creating a Google profile will also help your university. This is something that lots of people ignore. Do keep in mind, when you create your Google profile on your Google Scholar, that would basically mean that your name now appears in your university's Google profile as well. So once you select your university, your name will be there, and consequently your university will have the number of our researchers, number of articles within it as well. So people can easily track how many articles a user has or a university has published. Okay, so do it for your university as well. Do create your Google Scholar profile. It is very easy, very simple, and it has lots of benefits I will discuss later on. My name is Dr. Zeeshan. If you are here first time, kindly subscribe to my channel Zeeshan Academy for more lectures on academics and on research as well. Let's continue. Now, for Google Scholar, you do need to log into your Gmail account. So make sure you have your Gmail account logged in. Once you are logged in, there are a few things that you can do very quickly. First thing we do is we go into settings, and sometimes people don't tend to understand it. Let me very quickly tell you, you search articles, but if you belong to law, you want to search special law-based cases, then you come here and customize your settings. This would basically mean that whenever you search, it will specifically give you law-based cases or cases from your law history and previous records. It will not give you anything else. So it's for a people who belong to law and are searching for specific cases, this becomes a very good source as well. So it is not only for research articles, you can search for cases as well. Then you come here, research articles per page. Usually it's set to 10. By default, people leave it 10. I usually prefer to leave it 20, so I get a long list and I can browse them very easily and quickly, not wasting our time. Sometimes I leave this on as well, open each. So when I click on it, every time the result just goes back to the new window. I don't have to right click and go to new tab every time. It just does it for me automatically. Then this is something again of very important for us. By default, it has been checked that don't show any citation import links. As the researcher, we do require citation import links. So for that, we leave it on, and which type of citation you're using depends on that. If you are into latex, you can use BibTeX, EndNote, or RefMan, whatever you want to prefer to that, but all depends on you. So do leave it on. So this is some settings that you do initially, and we click save. Once this is saved, it takes you back to your profile page. No problem. Now we go into my profile. Once you click here, and if you are here first time, you haven't created your profile, you need to fill in a simple form. So for example, if you come here, this form will pop up to you. Okay, this form will tell you that what is your name. So you specify your name. For example, my name, if I don't give any salutations, Zeeshan, University of Sindh, Jamshoro. Okay, my official email address, this is again quite important. Currently, I'm not logged in from official email because I already have an account. I will show you in a detail in a moment, but you need to provide your official email address. It is always recommended that you use your private email address. If you don't have official email address, leave it blank. If you are a researcher, PhD, MPhil student, you don't have official email address of your university, just leave this category blank. Then come and specify your areas of interest. What are your areas of interest that you're working with in terms of your research that you are carrying out? I'm at development. I'm talking and typing, and I'm just spelling development, development. All right. And so on and so forth. So specify 2-3 major areas of your research. Now again, this means your area of research. Remember, users, authors, researcher can see your profile and will use your profile to read your articles. So make sure these areas are very nice, and all these areas are actually hashtags and they are searchable within the big data. So if I click on virtual reality, it will give me all the list of virtual reality. Similarly, I can specify various other tags as well. So if I specify these things, now they become my profile page. Home page, if you have your university official home page, do link it. Again, recommended. It's an optional thing, but it's recommended you specify that here. Once you click on then, tells you, the next screen tells you that add articles. Now you can search for all the articles that you have already published. Google Scholar will do a very good job of finding your articles. Now I have spelled my name incorrectly here. Let me go back and let me recorrect the name. And now let's just press next. Okay. So once you come here, now you would see that my better names are appearing correctly. So if I come here, see this Zeeshan, one of my name is already there. As I said, my profile is already there with my official email ID. So already lists certain articles that I've already published. I can include all these articles here, and it will tell me other articles or other names that I've come with my name. So just find your name, find your articles that are there. For example, this is not mine, this is not mine. I will just select on this and click on these articles. It will automatically be added to my profile. If you have not yet published, still create your Google profile account, so the next time you publish an article will automatically be indexed in your Google Scholar profile. You don't have to do this every time. This is because I'm creating a fresh, it is asking me that add your articles. But if you have already articles, as soon as it get published, it will automatically be included in your Google profile account. And you can obviously add it manually as well. So currently I will just leave it blank, or I can click on this one and click on next. It will go and create my Google profile account. So once you have your profile account, it will show these things at this particular point. So once you log in, add your articles, it will take you to your main, like a home page. So this becomes your home page for it. Your name, your designation, your affiliations, and all that thing are there, along with all the research articles that you have published. And currently it will only show you 20 articles. Remember, we said give me 20 lists. I can click on more here, and it will go and show me all the other articles that I've published since I started doing my research. So it has all the research thing. This is why it becomes important. Now any researcher who wants to do research with me can search me on Google profile and on Google Scholar, come here and search my articles in this list. So if I come back into this thing where I had created my file, if I go back into the next screen, it will tell me to make my profile public. Okay, remember to make sure your profile is public. If you do not do that, it will not make your profile public. People will not be able to find you. Apply updates automatically. Again, this is a check that we usually leave it on, because this means every article that is you publish will automatically be added into your profile. So I'm not going to add it because as I said, my profile is already created. That's why I skipped this step initially. Then I remembered that I have to mention that. So anyway, so this is your profile. So this means that now all the articles that you have published are already listed in this thing. You can see the citation, most citation each article has received. Year wise also, if you click on the year wise, it will give you the list of articles with most recent being on the top, that articles that you have published recently from 2018, 19 and so on and so forth. It gives you a very consolidated list that what articles have been published by you recent years, which article has most citations, and you can see that okay, which article is more popular on the net, and based on that it calculates these metrics. Total number of citations that I have received so far, my H index is a calculation, my HI index, total number of articles that have 10 or more citations. So 10 or more articles have 10 citations, so that's why I index is 10, and similarly and so forth. This is a figure that actually tells that how good or how valuable your research is, how many people are actually citing your articles. So if you're working on area that is not receiving and you're publishing an because in an area that is not receiving citations, that means that people are not reading it. That means that I should not be spending more time in these articles. Obviously these are all latest, so we have to wait for a few years, but if I go back, there are certain articles that have received no citations. That means there's a problem there. So I should not be continuing in that direction, or maybe I need to do more better research that people are not finding this article cite worthy. So it tells us it's like a self check. It also is very an interesting way of understanding which area is being cited more and which articles are being cited less. So I should concentrate, in order to increase my citation, I should concentrate on those area and that area, and I can work more on this area rather than going into area B. So increase my citations and other. So I have that thing as well in this particular cases. Then also lists your co-authors. It does a good job of finding your co-authors, that what are the co-authors that you are available, and then you can look into their profile as well, that what your co-authors has been publishing, what their values are, and so on and so forth. So you can go into your co-authors profile and you can check that as well. You can add your co-authors by clicking on this button at the top. it will try to find out all the co-authors that probably are resemble to you or have been sharing research with other authors as well. So you can add them here as well. So this is all you need to do, nothing else. Then in order to add articles, if you find that you have published an article and it is not listed here, you need to come into this plus icon and add articles by group. You can search that, or add articles in single, or add articles manually. Now, if you search add articles, this means that you need to provide the name of article. It will try to search for that article, and then you can add that article manually. So currently, I believe my articles are already there in my profile, in profile, all these articles are there. But there are certain articles that it sees, might be mine, because the spelling can be different or affiliation can be different. So for in this case, MZ Bhatti, I know it's not me, so it's not in my profile. ZD Bhatti, this is also not me, so it's not in my profile. So you can add individual articles, search, and you add it. But in case if you don't find your article still on Google Scholar, okay, then you see, oh, it's not there, you're trying to search, then you can do what you call add entry manually. This means that you specify the entries manually as well. So you can enter the title, the authors, the publication date, the journal, the volume, the issue, the pages, and so on and so forth. All these data you enter for your journal. If it's a conference paper, you click on the conference and add a conference. If it is a book chapters, add your book chapters. If you have published books, enter your books. If you have published your thesis, enter your thesis. If you have patents, if it is not already in Google Scholar, add them. What this means, you are telling the world that what data you have published. People look into your Google profile and they can see lots of different informations. So it's very essential, very easy, very simple to use, and it's very important as well. So you can add articles yourself as well. Then the other cool feature that I use for this is that you can check your university name as well, and the number of researchers within your university. Like I said initially, once you create your profile, it is not only for you, it also helps your university become more prominent in the research community. So once you create your profile, if you go on to, for example, University of Sindh, if you see this, I have registered my email official, it's recognized now. It tells me that University of Sindh Jamshoro, these are all different authors of University of Sindh Jamshoro, the top citations and top people are in there. So it is helping my university, it is helping Google to understand how many researchers are in my university, how much are they publishing. So by adding your profile, you are also contributing to your university name. That is why it is essential that you create your Google Scholar profile as well. Similarly, you can search any other university as well. So if you search, for example, in my case, if I search for ComStat, now I can see that what are the main researchers within that particular university. So if I'm a PhD student, I'm looking for a professor, I can search that professor's profile. I can search a university and see that who are the top profile researchers in that university. I can also, like I said previously as well, these basically are tags. So if I want to work with VR and AR, if I click on this area, it will tell me who other people in this area are working. So that's why keywords are very important. So for example, if I go into animation, if I click on animation, this will tell me that who other people are there in the field of animation that are working. So from Daniel to Nadia, these are the top researchers in this area, and along with these, so get a huge bunch of researchers that are specifically working on animation as well. And then I can see their profiles, see their citations, see what they're doing, and I can easily track researchers and scientists based on my Google profile as well. I can see that which I can also see that which author is publishing articles in which area, what are their latest publications, by just simply going into their profile, seeing that, oh, this article has published more citations. Or if I go into year wise, I can see that his latest article or editorial notes, what are they in which area they're working in. I can easily get myself updated on latest articles, latest profiles as well. If I click on computer graphics, again, this becomes a hot node. I get the latest people, the highest cited. The highest citation means that these are more active and more renowned researchers. But in other words, their articles are cited mostly and more commonly by people. So I can know that, okay, which articles are most cited, so I can also work in the same area. Or if I'm applying for a university, I can see their profiles, that which user or author is more prominent, and I can go and work with them as well. So it becomes a very intuitive way of finding your peers, finding top-notch articles, finding most cited articles as well. Finally, one of the fantastic features of Google Scholar profile that lots of people still don't know or don't use, in that, at least within my circle, is setting alerts. Once you create a Google profile alert, in other words, if I go into Scholar, if I click on these three bars, it will open up a menu. I can go in something called alerts. If I click on alerts, what it will tell me, it will tell me that I have set certain alerts. Okay, these are certain alerts I can do. I can create my own alert as well. By setting an alert, basically it means that when whatever alert you create, in other words, I have created an alert for new articles in my profile. So whenever there is a new article in my profile, Google Scholar will automatically email me that an article has been added. So that's how I can easily confirm that my article has been published online. Similarly, citations, new citations to my articles. I have set this alert as well. So whenever somebody cites my articles, I get an email. Some author has cited your article. And that gives me a notion, oh, I have gotten citations. So I can easily see that which author is working and has cited my work. Initially, obviously, it's very interesting and very intriguing and very exciting for us to receive that my authors or my research is being cited by others. Similarly, I can track people who are publishing as well. So for example, I can go into create alert. I can select a keyword. For example, like I said, virtual reality. Okay, so I can set a keyword based on virtual reality. Nothing else. I just write a keyword virtual reality, give my email address, number of results, maximum 10 or 20 depending on how much I want, create that alert. What this will mean now is that anytime a new article with a keyword or a title word having virtual reality is published online anywhere, Google will alert me. That's the magic of it, that I don't even have to go and search. Every time the latest paper that is now published with a keyword that you specified, in my case virtual reality, Google will automatically email me. Google will email me that in that journal somebody has published an article that contains the word virtual reality in its title or in its keywords, and it will get me email. So every week, it won't bulk you. Every week we get an emails. Once a week we get an email of all your keywords and notifications. So we get an alert every week, and that's how basically we keep update. So I can set a bunch of keywords and that I can use for my own research. For example, I have set multiple others. I can also set augmented reality, in other words. Okay, so this means that now anybody that publishes an article based on augmented reality, Google will send me an email. I can set as many keywords, as many alerts I want. Moreover, I have authors as well. So I can follow various different authors as well. So if I go back into this thing, I go back into my profile, and remember I try to search for authors. So for example, if I go back into animation, I see that, okay, I find this author more interesting. So I go into its profile. I see that, okay, this guy is also working in computer graphics, animation, and I'm following their research. So I can follow their research. I can see what they are publishing in latest, which technique, which motion, what they are doing. And I find them very interesting. So I want to know their latest work. All I need to do is I need to click on follow. Once I click on follow, it will pop up a message. It will tell me, what do you want to follow? New articles. So every time a new article is published by this author, they will send me email as well. So I will get a notification in my email box that this author has published a new article. You know how easy it is to track any researchers and their research work. Similarly, new citations to this author. Anytime anybody cites this author, means they are related to them, working in the same domains, they are citing their work, I get an email. So I get updated about latest research work being cited, latest research work being published, new articles related to this research, where I can do that. Usually I leave this on because it just adds more thing, but these two things usually I do. And again, yes, email address, this is my email address, I click on done, and now this alert is also set. So if I go back into my list of alerts, it's again popping up here. You would find that this author, where did that go? This author is should be. Here we go. This author is in my profile now. Okay. So now every time an article, this author publishes an article, I will get a notification. Every time somebody cites this guy, I will get an email notification. Based on that, I will track my research activities. I will track the latest research being published. So I don't even have to go and search every week. I will get an emails that will tell me what the latest work is being published, the latest work that is being cited. I get information. So Google profile is absolutely essential. It tells you lots of great things. It helps your university. It helps your career, and it also helps people cite you more. Through this, you can increase your citation as well. So if I'm working in an area, I find a good article, I go and look that article's user's profile and I search for that person's profile on Google Scholar. Know that if he has published one article, he would have published few other articles as well. What other articles he has published on the same area. So I can see that very easily by just looking into its Google profile, and I can see that, okay, this same guy has published articles in A, B, C, D, same topics, right? So it gives me more confidence in terms of doing my research, in terms of doing my literature review, whatever I want to do more specifically. Okay. So this is absolutely essential. Then obviously you have something called my library. This is something when we do searching, whenever you search an article on your Google Scholar, you get a star sign nowadays. For example, again, if I use animation and virtual reality, again the areas that I've been talking about, you would note there's a star here. This star would basically means that if you click on this one, your articles is now saved in your my library. You can read it later on, right? So you want to looking into it, but you're not currently in the mood of reading this thing. So what you can do is you can click on the star. It will automatically be saved in your library. If you come here, this is my library here. Then once I go into my library, all those articles that I just clicked on star are now here, that are like your library, and they're saved in your thing, and you can come back to them whenever you want, and you don't have to search for those articles online every time. So by creating your profile, you're also creating your library that you can maintain of all the key articles that are important to your research or to your research area or to your dimension that you're working on. So this is something again very important. Finally, metrics is something that tells us about the various categories and publications and journals based on your profile and that is available on Google Scholar. So currently it's telling us on the publication with respect to journals, again very useful. Which journal or which article, which journal again is very popular with respect to index, and we can use that for publication purpose as well. Again, for that usually I try to go to other sources as well, like Scopus or Web of Science, more appropriate for me on that. Okay, so do let me know how you feel about this video. What else you want to know? Anything I've missed, kindly let me know. Do leave your comments and feedbacks. And if you are here for the first time and you have stayed till the end listening to my lecture, thank you very much. Kindly don't forget to subscribe my channel for more such informative videos. Thank you very much. This is Dr. Zeeshan signing off.